Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video of My Creative Life with Kel Sweetie, where we craft, where we read books, we make art, we love the holidays, and essentially do whatever our creative hearts desire. Today is Friday the 13th, and as such, I wanted to celebrate the day by doing a first watch of Friday the 13th. I have never watched Friday the 13th before. It's not something I'm proud of as somebody who loves Halloween and loves watching, I don't want to say horror films because those Saw movies freak me out. I will not watch them, but I do love things like the movie like Scream, and also just getting in the Halloween spirit by watching a couple of Halloween specific movies. And so, you know, when the conversation of a classic horror film comes up and you don't really know what to say because you've never watched some of the classics like Friday the 13th or Halloween or even Nightmare on Elm Street, it gets a little dicey. So I thought, what better way to finally watch the movie that I have been afraid of watching since I was a kid than finally watching it in a quick vlog today to celebrate the unofficial holiday of Friday the 13th, especially since it's special considering that one finally falls in October. I can't remember last time a Friday the 13th fell in actual like October, so I'm excited. Unfortunately, I am still hitting this S and Q button that is on my camera to film, and the first half of me watching the film is all in slow-mo, and the intro before I started watching the film is all in slow-mo. I luckily rectified it by the time things got good in the movie, and I want to do a little roundup at the end to talk about how I felt about watching the movie. I'm going to be watching Friday the 13th as well as Over the Garden Wall. I watched some of that so that if the movie was too scary, I could watch something that may like at least set me at ease long enough for me to go to sleep. Enjoy watching a little bit of me reacting to both of those classics and finally catching up with the rest of you Halloween lovers out there. I'll see y'all in a bit.
Jack? Jack?
But Jack ain't there. Oh, that's not funny. But that part's not funny. The part before it was.
Hello. Hey, got anything else you want? No, thanks, Eddie. I'm fine.
And of course he's just missing this entire time.
Want to get right out? No, I've got two. I've got 6 new counselors up in camp. They are babes in the woods in every sense of the word.
Eat Berry, better count your lucky stars. Oh, they're gonna take her out with arrows. Oh, they're gonna use this target practice. There was foreshadowing on here.
Generator's okay.
Yeah, you heard one alright.
When? It sounded like Brenda.
Yeah, you're out there. You find an axe, a bloodied axe, in a bed, and you ask what's going on? Not let's get the hell up out of here. I have to ask if your brain's working.
Where are they?
Come on.
His wires are cut, honey.
Why don't we just hike out of here? Just get out. Right now.
Look, it's 10 miles to the nearest crossroads. Steve will be back soon. We can use his jeep if we need to get help.
You need to get help now.
Probably some stupid explanation for all this.
Like what?
We'll be laughing about this tomorrow. Promise.
No, you won't. No, you will not be laughing about anything tomorrow, sir. Oh, he's gonna be dead. Yep, there we go.
What's that?
Yeah, let's walk towards the blinding light.
Why? You and I just met.
That was just stupid. Oh, they didn't have to do Bill like that. Bill seemed like pretty nice. They just gave him the trifecta. Yes. Hysteria. I'm going to get you out of this. That one threw me for a loop. I didn't think Bill was going to go out like that. But you know what? They didn't even show it. So we should know. What are you going to do? Rope? What is rope going to do? Oh, well, I guess to close the door. Keep the door closed. Okay. I'm not going to act like that's a bad idea. That's a better idea than I probably would have had. What are you going to do with the windows? Here's nothing, honey. If they already in there with you, you didn't even check the whole place until you started doing that. So who knows if you just lock them in there with you? See, she already in there. Nope, don't relax. There's nothing to relax about. She said, I was going to find a way through. She's still alive? Oh, no, I think she just moved back. Honey, you had it together. You'd already seen Bill worse off the bat. Honey, she gonna break in through that part of the window she just broke. This seems it. And then you're gonna leave the only opening in the entire. That is not who you're looking for, because he already did. Well, if that's I've watched Scream, so I already know how this goes down. And I already know the twist.
Please help me get out of here.
Oh, she's off her rocker.
Go.
I think we should wait for Mr. Christopher.
Innocent Jason.
Oh, this is the best part of the movie.
My only child.
And then you drop the poker. That's your weapon. Should have grabbed the knife that fell out of her hand. What are we doing, honey? Oh. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was at the beginning. I thought she would have left her out there. Ooh, you gonna run the 10 miles, huh? Ooh, there he is. There goes Steve. Ooh.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
like 20 minutes left. Gotta be a final girl because there's always gotta be a reinstilled hope. And there's always gotta be a sequel. Oh, some psycho type stuff. You should have had it as a battery. Silly girl. Now you're just throwing yarn at her. Wow. She slapped the mess out of you. That's what you should have done in the beginning. Why are you still? If you don't go to the main door and get yourself out of there, you're sitting here running into buildings. You need to get over that. You've seen too many dead bodies tonight. I have a whole hole in that place that you just ran into. And move away from the door. Not me being on damage. She ain't gone. You won't think she gone, and then she gonna pop out. It's not over. You need a jump scare. It's too quiet. Yep. I'll get some glass jars. I started paying rent. Well, so The Shining got that from this? She's a machete. Better grab her machete. See, look at you. You're not even gonna grab her machete. Oh, is that why Jason carries a machete? It's the last thing his mother had. Hubert got that whole "Here's Johnny" thing from Friday the 13th. Unbelievable. Nothing's original. Why are you not leaving? You're taking a second to be down by the water? Twice now she's bested you. And you had a machete. Before you, I don't think that she really know what you're doing. Oh, she beheaded her. Oh, not the grabbing in the air. Why would I go? Why are you going out to the middle of the water? And you're paddling with your hand. Well, I guess because she ruined your oar. This is dramatics at its finest. Oh, not a crescendo. Wow, they really got me in the last jump scare. I knew it was coming. How many Friday the 13th movies have there been? Oh, she's in the graveyard or the hospital?
It's all right now. It's over.
Interesting. I just finished Friday the 13th. The last 20 minutes are the best parts of the movie. The last 20 minutes is the best acting and the best part of the movie. And it actually had me. I knew that it was her. It was like watching Psycho. You know the story, you know what's gonna happen. You're kind of sitting there like, okay, how much can this really scare me? And it's not really a scare. It's more like you're just impressed. Because Betty, I need to find out what her last name is. She should have won an award. I have no other input to give. I'm going to watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Over the Garden Wall, and we'll see how I react to that. If it's worth all of the accolades that everybody keeps on giving it. If it's as comfort and cozy as everybody keeps on saying it is. Let's watch this show. I have so many questions that I just feel like will not get answers.
Led through the mist, by the milk light of moon, lies a place that few have seen. A mysterious place called the unknown, where long forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through the wood.
Okay. 2 episodes in. I want to keep watching to see where this goes. However, I'm also disturbed. Everybody mentions Pottsville like it's this fun place, and the "you'll join us someday" conversation. I love Beatrix. She's thinking what everybody's thinking. And the older brother situation, I don't know how I feel about him. I mean, I find him interesting, but I don't know how I feel about him yet. I'm gonna watch maybe 1 or 2 more episodes and then check back in on that. So we are back. I hope that some of that was enjoyable. Like I said before, I did not get footage really of the first hour of me watching Friday the 13th. And in all honesty, y'all missed nothing. Because other than a couple of me talking to myself in order for me to not be afraid or make sense of things, my reaction to watching Friday the 13th as a 28-year-old, it's not that scary, if at all. But I think when I was 8 years old and I saw snippets, I was freaked out, and if I was still 8 watching the movie, I'd be freaked out. As a 28-year-old who has read way freakier, scarier books, a couple of slashings at a summer camp really wasn't all that bad. Now, let's start off with my pros on watching it. And I many times had to like sit there and go, this was made in 1980. This was released in May of 1980. May of 1980. Remember that this was released in 1980. And when I kept remembering that, I think that I had a lot more appreciation for the film. Okay, I don't think that they started saying that, like, the word serial killer until like the 1970s, like the beginning of the 1970s. And so for this movie to come out like 10 years after really the introduction of serial killers to the mainstream, and for this movie also, you spend the entire time not knowing who the killer is. I knew who the killer was because one of my favorite horror films is Scream. And one of the first things and lines that Ghostface asks in the film Scream, spoiler alert, skip over this part if you do not want to know who the killer is in Friday the 13th, if you have not watched it yet, is who was the original killer in Friday the 13th. And Casey answers wrong. She answers that it was Jason. She watched that movie so many times and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, no, you were wrong because the mom, Mrs. Voorhees, was actually the original killer. So I knew who the killer was already. But if I was in 1980 and I was watching this film for the first time, not knowing who the killer was, and I did really like the handycam POV, like shooting that they did from the killer's point of view the entire time, love that. I would be sitting there like, who is this guy? Especially in 1980, when statistically the FBI and government had only really found statistics and a small amount of information on serial killers, and all those serial killers were men. At that point in time, the FBI and government and like the public at large did not think that women were capable of being serial killers for many multiple misogynistic reasons. At that point, it was extremely, like, everyone just thought serial killers could only be men. So, with that being said, I think it was really interesting that this movie was like, this is a women's rights movie. Like, I want somebody to do content on on Friday the 13th being a women's rights movie because of the fact that it really broke the like stereotype that only men could be serial killers. But that leads me to a con along with that pro is it's not scary because you have no real stakes with anybody who dies in the first hour. It moves. Like, it's an hour and a half long film. The first two kids, there were a couple of times I giggled, which is unsettling for me. Kevin Bacon's in this film. I had no idea Kevin Bacon was in Friday the 13th. That was wild. He wasn't in it long, but I don't feel like anybody was in there long compared to how fast the movie moves. Now, that being said, the last 20-30 minutes of the film are really amazing cinema. I think it's almost worth it to watch an hour of an okay movie to get those last 30 minutes. But I hope that actress who plays Mrs. Voorhees got an Oscar of some kind, because that was a performance. It goes very Norman Bates Psycho. They definitely took some notes from Hitchcock with the split personality in order to deal with the death of her son. She starts it is so creepy in the best way. She starts talking to herself like she's Jason, and he's like in her head. It was amazing. As we all know, for the books that I read, and as I've mentioned many times on this channel before, I love me an unhinged woman. And Mrs. Voorhees was unhinged from her son passing. I thought it was really interesting, the part where she's in the final girl's in the pan. See, I'm calling her the final girl because really I know none of their names. I got no attachment to any of the characters to the point where I don't know any of their names. So, final girl, that's what her name is, final girl. She's in the pantry and she thinks Mrs. Voorhees is gone. She's not. And Mrs. Voorhees got the machete that was in the cabin and ends up like knocking down a piece of plank in the door of the pantry, and my mind went straight to, oh, that's Jack Nicholson in The Shining. And of course I'm sitting there and I'm like, I think, looking at the quality of the film, I'm like, oh, this movie came out before The Shining. Kubrick is not an original, he just took it from this. However, and I told that to my partner, and then we looked it up because then we started thinking, wait, that doesn't make sense because of another project I'm doing right now. I am fully aware of when The Shining takes place, which is during the late 70s. And I'm like, wait, was The Shining shot before? And I actually looked it up. The Shining and Friday the 13th Part 1 actually were released only like a week or two apart from each other. They were both released in 1980. So I think it's extremely interesting that they basically have the same exact shot of somebody like knocking down this like plank in a door where somebody's trying to escape and like going in to try and unlock the door. It looked like the exact same shot. So yeah, I've watched Friday the 13th now. Let's talk about Over the Garden Wall. Surprisingly enough, Over the Garden Wall unsettled me more than Friday the 13th. I don't know what I was expecting. I see people who love Halloween post it all the time. They say it's one of their cozy feel-good shows. I don't know how they find this show a feel-good show. I think it's a very interesting show, but I don't think it's at all I think it's really existential. It is existential, very much so. We're following Wirt and his little brother who've gotten lost in the woods, and they come across all these different things while they try to find their way out. And these 12-minute episodes, which they're 12 minutes, you could literally just sit, if you have a good hour and a half, 2 hours, you can knock this out. I don't know, there were just parts of it that were a little unsettling. Like, there is a part where they're in Pottsville, which a lot of you may like recognize the reference when it comes to Over the Garden Wall for all the pumpkin people. And that part was kind of unsettling and a bit scary. I think that like people reference it like it's comforting or they're just like pumpkin people and it's cute, and it's not. You find out that they're kind of like these skeletons who have been reanimated, and they wear pumpkin heads in order to like just have heads and facial expressions and stuff like that. It's a little unhinged. And at one point, Enoch, who is the leader of the pumpkin people, asks Wirt, the older brother, if he wants to stay with them. And he goes, nah, I'm good. And he's just like, okay, it's no never mind. You'll join us someday. And people quote that all the time. And I'm like, why do you quote it? Like, I understand the existentialism of it all. It's like, yeah, we all die. Like, we're all going to become skeletons in the earth. And yeah, you will join them one day. And I get that and the deepness of it all. But at the same time, like, I just think the marketing, like, people who have mentioned anything around it make it seem like it's this cozy, like, animated film and really, or show. And really, it just feels like a little too on the nose for like you being this speck on a big old rock in the middle of nowhere. So Wirt, you realize being the older brother is experiencing this loss of identity, or this lack of a sense of identity. He doesn't even really know who he is. So how can I direct and like help my younger brother if me as the older brother, I don't know who I am? So he always really seems lost, as opposed to his younger brother who seems so sure of himself all the time. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll finish it and it'll all come together and I'll just kind of be like, oh, I see why people watch this every year. But for me personally, I don't see myself watching it every year. I think it's a good like little show, and I think that it really asks a lot of important questions that as an adult, like, you're gonna be like, okay, wasn't ready for that today. That's hitting a little hard. I think it's nice that I'm finally getting to watch it. And again, the artwork in it is great. I think that the tone in it is still fantastic. Like, yes, it's unsettling and deep in all these best ways. Yeah, I just think I'm just like, my soul and mind is unsettling and deep all the time. So I think I'm just kind of like, I don't see how this is breaking any barriers in what I'm breaking with the books I'm usually reading, you know? That's pretty much it for today's short video. I just wanted to kind of put something out for the unofficial holiday that Friday the 13th is, especially with it being during spooky season this year. I think it was just a happy accident type of thing. If you really love Friday the 13th and the Friday the 13th franchise, please let me know down below. Me personally, I still am rooting for Scream and still love Scream. There's something about the meta of it all that I really love about that franchise. But I think now watching Friday the 13th, I'm kind of interested in now watching like Nightmare on Elm Street as well as Halloween, since those are kind of like the 4 horror classics that everybody always is like, you need to watch these. So I think I'm gonna try and maybe watch those finally. We will see. I don't know. I've been rotating the same Halloween movies for quite some time. If you really love Friday the 13th or its franchise, if not, let me know also down below. Or if you also really love the movies because of what I had mentioned today about, you know, Mrs. Voorhees being one of the original killers. Low-key, I hope that I kind of also want to watch the movies just to see if they bring Mrs. Voorhees back somehow. Like, I really love her as the killer, to be honest. This is the start, really, of a lot of the spooky content that I'll be putting out for the rest of the month. Over the next 2 weeks, almost every video I'll be putting out is going to be probably regarding some type of spooky content. Of course, the book content is still going to be coming every now and then, but with a Halloween party and plenty of Halloween crafts I've been doing and working through over the last couple of weeks, as well as my Trick or Sweet challenge happening on my Instagram. We are in the full swing, the full scream of the Halloween season, and I'm really excited to share it all with y'all. I just have to get to editing and illustrating as quickly as I can to get it out to you guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying them, and I hope you guys are having a good Halloween season so far. I know that we're 2 weeks in, and I feel like it's moving really quickly. The next one you guys should be seeing is a Halloween craft, another Halloween craft with me video regarding making tombstones and some things for your front lawn. So keep a lookout for that and subscribe down below so you don't miss anything this Halloween season. And yeah, see y'all guys soon. Bye.